Today, I want to talk about one of maybe the most important thing ever in music. And it's divided, or basically we can break it down into three segments, three elements. And I'd like to start from element number 3. So the third one, again, and this will make probably the most biggest impact on your musical journey in life if you take it seriously. At the end of the video, I'll give an update about Eden. Thanks again for all the comments and the love. It means a lot. Number 3 is the idea of believing. Look, I know oftentimes we're here to talk about sounds and colors and devices, and I think it's the most beautiful thing in the world and super important, but we need to understand a little bit more about how it functions in order to do it right. So for me, the idea of believing is really crucial. One of the biggest kind of downfall, I would say, of a lot of intermediate and beginner musicians and players and people who aspire to play music more, which is a lot of us, is that a lot of us don't believe that we can actually do it. And I know it sounds funny, and maybe sound like, but I mean, I talk to a lot of people, and I hear that again and again, that people don't really believe in themselves, and they feel they're not talented enough, they can't do it, they're too old, it's too late, they just don't understand. And the people who get it and are able to progress, I'd say, a little faster, it's not that they're more talented, it's just that they believe that they can do it. And that's a huge thing. So how do you believe? Well, I really like thinking about music as a language, and I'll give kind of like an example. So, if you were to study, or if I dropped you, in China, assuming you do not speak Chinese in this moment, and I told you have to be there and live there, in a few months, in a few years, in 10 years, you would know all the customs, language, culture of that area. And the reason is you're surrounded with that language. So you can learn Chinese in any language for that matter. The same thing if I would told you you have to, run 10K or a marathon. Sounds like a crazy hard thing to do for a lot of us at the moment, but when you go to a coffee shop, you look around and you say, well, I believe that most people here, if not everybody, can do it. It might take 6 months, and it might take 2 years, and it might take 5 years. But the reality is that we know with high degree of certainty that we can do it. And that really helps the process. So I'm saying it because it's a very simple act. All we need to do is understand and kind of accept that we can really play guitar well and music well, and believe in the process, believe in the idea that you're chipping away into, a future that is, better. The idea of a better future is something that we like as mankind, the idea of the system of credit, just the belief that the future is better. So I know it's funny, but I really think it's important. So if anything else today, just know that you can do it. And I know for some people like, yeah, it's funny, but no, I'm really serious. Like, believe that you can do it in a very honest way. When we play music, we talk about these positions, these fingerings oftentimes. Now, the thing is, and this is a really big deal, we need to take the information into inspiration. And this is where, again, a lot of people fall. You don't really want to be like, hey, this guy is really a master of C major scale. You want to be like, oh, this guy wrote a beautiful song. So I'm saying it, and it's kind of obvious, but what happens in the practice of music, especially in these kind of circles, is that people practice a lot of scales and technical exercises without the music. Now, I'm a big fan of also practicing technical exercises and also practicing scales and positions, and they are important. Like, we need to know the framework, we need to know the guitar, and we need to understand what we're doing. We talk about it quite often here in the channel, but we need to transpose or transform, I would say, the information into inspiration. We need to take those ideas and move them into music, into creation, right? You play music because it touches your soul. When you hear a G, you're like, yeah, that's a cool sound. Or you can hear this sound and you say it's a cool sound. The sound doesn't matter. What matters is that you hear these chords and it does something to your soul. And instead of just knowing all the shapes in the world, that of course I'm a big fan of, we want to take the information that we're dealing with. C major scale, okay, if it's C major scale, this position, you can play it. Now, show me the music, like Keith Jarrett says, show me the music. I want to hear the melodies, I want to hear the things, and I want to move the information into inspiration. One way to do that is to literally break your practice routine and consciously decide that you're going to create. So that means that if you're practicing A minor pentatonic and working on position, that's awesome. But now half of the practice, or 40% of the practice, let's try to create with that sound. If we know the sound, there's so much there, but it's also just the scale, right? But there is something beyond the scale once we really pay attention and kind of commit. So my ask here is make sure that every day you're not only playing the scales and not only practicing guitar, but also creating in I would say, an informative, intentional way, whether you're writing it, whether you're soloing, whether you're messing around with a jam craft. All these are great, but make sure there is creative output. All right, number 1. So a lot of people, myself included, we oftentimes feel that things need to happen yesterday, especially when you're talking about guitar. So I met a lot of people in the world that are very excited about music and guitar, but unfortunately, they kind of start playing and they play some chords, they get super excited, and then they stop playing for a month or 2 months or sometimes 10 years. And the reason oftentimes when I talk to people, like, why didn't you not play at all for 5 years or 10 years? They're like, yeah, I always wanted. But the reason that comes again and again and seems to appear, the thread there, is that basically they didn't really see the path. They didn't see how the mundane actions of practicing 15 minutes a day, practicing 10 minutes a day, practicing half an hour a day, a little bit, just little by little, how that will eventually make them what they want to be. And it's a really hard thing to bridge because, you are feeling that you're too late. You're feeling that, it needs to happen yesterday. But the truth is that music, it's all about the long game. If you really like guitar, if you really like sounds, it doesn't matter if you're, you can play everything tomorrow or in a week. I would say it's just a process. It's a path. And I think a lot of people kind of forget to, enjoy the path with its hurdles, It's not an easy one always, but I'm saying we really want to make sure we're not thinking about the end goal is tomorrow. There is a lot of time. And I think if you're here and you like music, you know that there's a lot of time to create. And, if you spend 6 months or a year or 2 years even working little by little, just, a few minutes a day, even if you set 10 minutes a day, it's quite amazing what you can achieve in that time. And, I think a lot of people really want to be better musicians, but the consistency is a big deal. And again, I'm saying it because